Hello guys, welcome to the Poos Network. It's my beautiful face. You get to see me for once. This video is going to be very different than the others. I like to read. I just finished a book called The Second Foundation by Asimov. It's the third book in its trilogy, and I really liked it. It's one of the few books that are in a trilogy that I prefer the sequels over the initial one, or whatever series of books. Generally the first one's great, and the first one was great. It's called Foundation. The second book's called Foundation and Empire, and that one's really great too. Throws a curveball at you, and the curveball was such influential that it remains a good part of this last book. Maybe a third of the book is dealt with the curveball. And almost all of it actually, because it was such a curveball that it made a long-lasting effect. And when I say long-lasting, the generic purpose of these books is to say there's a galactic empire. And there's a guy who understands the social dynamics so well, and how he's studied them historically, that he can essentially predict the future using like very in-depth mathematical equations. And his name is Harry Seldon, and they call his plan the Seldon plan. He predicts the end of the empire and sets up two foundations. One scientifically to maintain the science level and knowledge of the current period, and another one, and that's what this book gets into. And I actually will not speak of the second foundation too much, because it's a nice mystery for you to enjoy when you read both the second book and the third book. You get to know them a lot more. What happens is he tries to lessen the duration of a barbaric period once the galaxy, the empire, falls. Rather than, socially speaking, he predicted that unless he does something significant and sets things up in such a way that the barbaric period until another empire forms itself will be like 10 to 100 times as long as something that he's trying to do. He's trying to do a millennium of time in which they can set up another empire that kind of holds things together even better than the original empire. So in this book, it deals with the second foundation and what their job is according to the Seldon plan, and how that works. And in the earlier books, there were these crises that Seldon kind of prepared for and could easily plan for, in the sense that shortly after, as time goes by, he predicted how these really big bumps in the road come to pass and how the foundation triumphs. It's just a really great series. This last book, I said, is one of my favorites. The last book has a lot of like bluffing going on, and not just the normal, the kind of situations where it's like, oh, you never saw that coming. It's like there's a whole bunch of those, and it makes you want to plan for them, but you never know what really is going on until the very end. And it's a very refreshing last page. You're like, oh, it's over, and you're like, whoa, let me read that last page over again. That happened to me today when I finished it. And a lot of great characters, and it's very generational. Obviously, the people that kind of maneuver themselves past these crises are always referenced. One of my first favorite ones is the first mayor of the foundation. Man, I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. Hardin, I think, was his name. And he was really cool. But then there's a whole bunch of others, and there's always references to them. And it's kind of cool in that way, where there's like these like legacies and legends from the people that have figured out the other crises and came through on them. And there's all kinds of really cool phrases and slogans, if you will. A lot of characters, what they do is they proclaim things that are like astonishing or like really kind of scary or bad possibly, and it's like, galaxy, and they're like, oh, galaxy, and that's like a big proclamation that they always say, and it's always fun to read because you kind of interpret it, because they use it for different things. And then it's just, and it references Earth being a part of the history in a way that it is the Milky Way galaxy that they're a part of. It is a science fiction, so I don't think there's references to actual solar systems or anything like that. But it doesn't need to be. I mean, that's not the purpose of this book. But I recommend it to you all, and yeah, I hope you get around to reading it. There are other books, I think even written by Isaac Asimov, that are based in this like realm, universe of these stories. But I may, not read them for a while because I think the important story that he wanted to get across, mainly what he's known for, is the Foundation series. And I'll definitely read more of his work. From what I've heard, he's more of a short story writer, and so a lot of his other main novels are almost like a combination of thoughts of some of his short stories that he's read. And you kind of see that in other short story writers, like Ray Bradbury or the guy who wrote I Am Legend. What's his name? No? I can reference it real quick here somewhere. Oh, I can't believe I don't remember it. Oh well, you guys know what I'm talking about. He's a short story writer, and in the book I Am Legend, the last fifth of the book is short stories that are really, really cool. And Richard Matheson. Not that they're short story writers themselves, it's just it kind of comes, you feel it when you're reading the books. And that's very easy to do in the Foundation series because of how generational it is. Like he can intertwine different periods. He can use barbarism alongside of scientific. There'll be warlords because they're social structures are breaking down and all that. But yeah, guys. So that'll be the end of my book review, I think. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll probably continue doing them with all the other books I'm reading. The next book I started today. We were doing some errands and we were at the dealership getting oil changed and whatnot. But I started a book is recommended by my wife, and she listened to it on tape, and there's a big hubbub nowadays about this book. There's a movie coming out for it, but she really liked it, and I really liked the beginning of it so far. It's called The Martian by Andy Weir. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not sure. Yeah, here, look at this nice close-up. Turn it a little bit so it's not so glary. Bring it down. The Martian, Andy Weir. Yeah, so I'm not going to say much of this right now because I just started it, and that'll be that. Thanks for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks.
Come here. Come here now. Somebody come here. You come here. You come here. Get over here. Come on.
Can you see this mug? Can you see this mug? Simon, look at the camera. Look at the camera. How many books this year did you read? What's a book? Shut up. This is my dog. He's cute.